you will feel less confident once you hear the stories of the other people. So perception is what you have written. If you have given a story, do not try to deviate from that. You have to identify a protagonist, the main character of the story. You have to identify that. Everybody has got, nobody is perfect, first of all. Even I am standing here, I am not perfect. In PPDT, what are they seeing? Are you aware? In PPDT, what are they seeing in a candidate? The first thing is your perception. How you have seen the photograph and how you have perceived the photograph. So perception is what you have written. Part 1. Part 2 is narration. In narration, if you have given a story, do not try to deviate from that. Whether right or wrong, don't try to deviate because your story is different and you are narrating something else. That may not be correct. And the third is participation. Okay, participation in group discussion. So these are the 3 steps. If in the first step itself you have gone wrong, you will feel less confident once you hear the stories of the other people. But that doesn't mean that you should not participate. Why keep quiet? Suppose you have gone wrong in your perception. The story that you have given is maybe not conforming to what everybody else or maximum people have perceived something and you are on a tangent. That doesn't mean that you have to be quiet. If you feel that somebody's story is right and somebody is mentioning it, you have to support him. You support him. But you have to participate. Okay?
So in participation, I have to stick at my story only?
No, not necessary.
Just
No.
listen the part.
If you have realized that you have gone wrong somewhere in your perception and the story that you have made is now not convincing to you itself. So it's not necessary that you have to stick to your own story. Because that is why that group discussion is there, to arrive at a consensus, a common story for the complete group. Try and derive a common story for the complete group. Participate in that. Okay? Just don't think that I have given a wrong story, so I might as well keep quiet. Don't do that. Okay? Participate.
So if I perceive 5 to 6 characters in the PPT, so it is necessary to justify all the characters in the...
No. What is PPDT? What have people told you? You have to identify a protagonist, the main character of the story. You have to identify that. And then build your story around him.
No, sir, in the box. In the box.
In the box?
Yes.
Okay. You have to mention how many males, how many females, what is their mode. That you have to mention. That is there. If you have seen 6, you mention 6. 3 girls, 3 boys. Mood is positive, maybe negative. Age approximately this much. This is what is required. So you have to mention. Please do that. Or? Okay, tell me a name. Kartikeya Avasthi. Yeah, okay. How do you explain your strength and weakness in the interview? First of all, does the interviewing officer say that your strength and weaknesses? What word does he use? 2 things that you are strong in and 2 things that you think you need to work upon. That actually means strength and weakness. All right. So, but you say, I am strong in, that is where your self-analysis comes in. Have you been able to analyze your own self when you are going for the SSB? Have you identified what you are strong in? And have you identified certain areas that you think that you should work upon to improve yourself as a person or as a probable candidate for the armed forces? Okay. So that is for you to decide. Nobody can give you a set answer. Everybody has got, nobody is perfect, first of all. Even I am standing here, I am not perfect. I may have certain weaknesses. Have I been able to identify them and worked upon them to improve? So that's how you work. In life, you will not be perfect in everything that you do. But if you are trying for a certain position in life, you have to first identify what are the requirements for that and then identify whether you meet those requirements or not. All right?
Yes, sir.
So you have to identify your strengths and weaknesses. Okay.
Sir, so if in interview asked me, sir, why I didn't give NDA, because I was giving JE at the time of NDA examination. So what should be the apt answer and how I should frame it so that he will,
I have told you that as an interviewing officer, I cannot give you an answer. The answer has to come from you, and the answer has to be convincing to the interviewing officer. If you have not given NDA, you must have had your reasons for it.
yes, sir.
You explain your reasons,
Sir,
and if you have genuine reasons, obviously the interviewing officer will understand. Okay, your reasons have to be genuine. Okay, don't try and give a false answer where you will get caught subsequently at a later stage. Understood?
yes, sir.
Since you are focusing on JE, obviously JE takes more time, it is more exhausting.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And sir, after my SSB attempt in February, so I had to take a backup college since I was in my drop year. So I first gave preference to my backup college and then I came back again to SSB.
okay, tell me one more thing. Sit. If you are preparing for the JE, do the dates clash with NDA? No, either it clashes or it doesn't clash. Not exactly is not an answer.
Sometimes when the JE session is like early, then basically they are of 7 to 8 days. So sometimes it clashes.
Obviously, if it clashes, so obviously you can't. You're focusing on JE, and if the dates of NDA are clashing with JE, obviously you cannot appear for 2 tests on the same day. So that is a reason. But what if I say that I am preparing for JE, and the JE preparation is covering a syllabus which is much more vast as compared to your NDA exam, and if the dates are not clashing, I can always give my NDA exam. Why let go of it? Why let go of it? NDA exam is how many hours? 1 day? 1 day affair. So with your JE preparation, you can also appear for your NDA exam if it is not clashing. Understood? So if you say it is not clashing, but I was focusing only on JE, that is why I did not give NDA, some interviewer will say ki you could have appeared. Some will say okay, fine.
After the PPDT is done and we submit a story to the GTO and to the SSSR, so, and when we go out, so some more and more ideas came into mind, sir, and like crucial words that came into mind, but I have not mentioned it in the story. So while I narrate the story, can I use those words, sir? Okay.
Now if you are talking about you have some new words have come to your mind, you can use those words. But new thoughts and new ideas which do not correspond to your story may not be correct. Okay? New words, there is no problem. You do not, whatever story that you have written, you don't have to mention it verbatim. It is the basic story has to remain the same. New words is fine. New words is not an issue.
Sometimes, sir, I was not able to give a proper conclusion to the story. But later when I got out.
Okay, you give your conclusion. You give your conclusion.
But that is not mentioned in the story, sir.
That's okay. But you still have to give a conclusion. Okay. It may be that you took time to understand the story or understand the picture. You took time to write it down. You ran out of time to finish the story. Okay. But at least give a conclusion. You have to give a conclusion.
But I have given conclusion in the story, but for me it is not appropriate. But later then I got out, I thought about it, then I found a little more appropriate ending to the story. Better conclusion.
That will not be correct. Okay. Because when you are giving out your story, your written story is there with that individual. Okay. But you got the advantage of group discussion. When the discussion in the group is there, that is the time you can mention that while my story, if people listen to you, that my story finished this way, but a better idea would be that we should do it this way. Convince the group about the ending of your story, and if they accept that, that's very good.